Yeah, obviously when the cold weather rolls in, we know it's baseball season, right? So here it is, ready to rock and roll. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but 8 months ago, getting the job and putting all the hard work and time and effort into it. Like I told everybody, it's been a long 8 months, probably been the busiest part of my life, but one of the best parts of my life, no doubt about it. So do all that work to get to this point to now go play somebody else, and it is time to play somebody else. So we're excited about it, obviously, to see what this first season has in store for us. Really excited about our older crew, our returners that have been here for a few years. And then I'm appreciative of you guys, man. Obviously, we have a story we want to tell. We were trying to transform this program into a national power, like football and like basketball. Like we said, we don't want to steal their space, but we definitely want to share that space and get on that level, right? So we're excited about getting that opportunity to do that this weekend and open up the season.
Coach, you talked about that moment 8 months ago. What were some of the first steps you've taken to get this squad together and getting them ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, the first step obviously was having to get the staff put together that would have the same vision, that I had, and we did that quickly. I thought we did that very efficiently, and guys that had that same vision. That, hey, man, we honestly believe this is a place that can get to Omaha one day. How quickly can that happen and come to fruition? Obviously, is how much of the right balance that you can get, right, and getting the right players. So obviously, we had to do that this summer. Like I said, we had a great core coming back, but really excited about some of those guys we were able to add in that transfer portal by the end of the summer that make us, I think, competitive. I think we'll have a chance year one to make some noise in the American Conference. Again, health is always a thing that you got to get into place, but I think the guys have been very receptive of what we've been able to sell to them, and obviously the idea of where we want to go with this thing.
You said at your opening press conference you want to win championships and you want to win them now.
Yep.
That's still a mindset going into the year?
100%. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the Durhams and the Baskin and Curtises and Duboses, they've got 1 year left. So why waste time and saying, hey, man, we just want to build and get us in that vicinity of being competitive. Let's go and be competitive now. And, again, I thought we got enough players out of the portal to be able to do that. But the good thing is with those returners, they have shown, hey, man, third head coach, third year, another system, another guy coming in, been very selfless in what they've done. Hey, tell me what to do, tell me where to go. I'll do it to the best of my ability. And it's really helped those transfers kind of do the same thing.
Man, you've been vocal about, being strategic and making sure that you aren't wasting the final year of some of these players and how you're trying to approach this first year.
Yep.
What conversations have you had with the guys about the roster you've constructed and what you're trying to do in year one?
Yeah, and I think it's just their willingness to listen. That's been the main message. I mean, if we're going to do this thing, we had practice yesterday and said, hey, man, raise your hand who wants the American Conference Championship. And they all raise their hand, of course. Okay, who's now willing to do the work? Who you guys show hands still up? Okay, so now when I start to push and I start to maybe get on you, right, or coach you hard or whatever it may be, know the reason that I'm doing it. Know the reason that our staff is doing that. It's because we want you to have that success. We want you to feel that moment, that dog pile. We want you to feel those moments of having success and winning. So that's a continued message for us that, hey, man, just stay selfless, man, stay competitive, and we'll have a good chance to do that.
Between your transfer portal guys and the core you got coming back last week, some of the national publications talking about you could potentially be a surprise team in the American. How much stock do you put in that? Because we not even played game one of 56 games yet.
And that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head. You don't put any stock into it. I mean, that's great that we're getting the attention and that the baseball program is getting that attention now as well. But at the end of the day, it's about going out there and getting W's, right? We got to go out there and not just be what else on paper. And there are some things we still got to get cleaned up that I want done before day one, which is coming in a couple of days, right? I think we've got to continue to get tougher. I think we've got to continue to grow as a team and continue to mature. But I think all the fixings are there for us to have the right recipe to do what we want to do.
How would you describe the portal in baseball? Because football and basketball, a lot of people describe it as chaos right now. Is it similar here?
Absolutely. It's insane. It's the one guarantee I can give you with all of it. It's going to change again in 365 days, right? So you got to be fluid with it. You got to continue to understand what it is. Obviously, you still got to find the right guys. And I think that's a huge part of this and component of this, especially in our sport and baseball, that we need these guys in the locker room to gel really well together. So if we bring guys that are coming here just for the draft or just get on some type of prospect list or think they can play here because this program hasn't been very good, hey, man, they get a rude awakening coming for them, because if they don't do the things we're asking of them, they will not be on the field. They will be on the bench. The old El Bencho will sometimes give you a rethinking process.
But how important is the portal, especially in a coach in his first year who's trying to hit the ground running and just trying to create the roster you want to have right away? Yeah,
I think being third year, third head coach, I think the portal helped us be competitive. If we didn't have that portal there, then obviously you're talking about bringing in a lot of late JC guys, or maybe hopefully a freshman got dropped, and you can still find players in there. I mean, I've had guys that we've signed in July have pitched in regionals, that same year, but You know, it would have been a lot more difficult to do that, I think, with the portal in the place it was, that it made it definitely where we can compete year one. So at the end of the day, if you want to ask me if the portal was good or not to us, I'd say yay. Yeah, thank God it was there for us for year one.
3 years and 3 head coaches, but last year, one of the better years in this program in
Yeah.
a long time. You know, what does it feel like being able to build off of the success that you guys have had, and I feel like maybe you're taking a step back, or maybe you have to take a baby step?
Yeah, 100%. And Carrick had some of the same model we did, right? I mean, he came in here and got a few players out of that portal to be competitive year one. Exactly the same idea we had. Unfortunately, in that, he didn't get a chance to complete a whole class, right? Again, you got the transfer portal in place, so the guys he signed might have wanted to go to Missouri with him or do other things, right? Because that's who they were coming here to play for. So, but I think at the end of the day, we put ourselves in a really good position to be competitive. So we want to build off that momentum that's been there, but just the momentum of the entire athletic department, right? Of just seeing everything that's going on. I mean, you're talking about football coming off of Liberty Bowl, right? We've got the new renovations coming into place now down there. Just the whole commodity of it. I mean, the women's soccer team in the Sweet 16, you know, you got men's soccer was in another regional back-to-back first time, I think, in the history of their program. There's just so many great positive things going on with Memphis Athletics. We want to continue to build the momentum and obviously kind of be the mainstay of the stamp at the end. They came in, great presentation, but hey, where's that end stamp to make that end chapter, last chapter of the year?
Coach, your press conference, obviously, when you got hired, bottom line's wins and losses, but you talked a lot at your opening press conference about you got to change a lot of things about the program outside the lines as far as game day atmosphere, participation in the program, media exposure. How receptive has the school been to maybe some new ideas as well as your boosters and your fans?
Yeah, I think they've welcomed us with open arms. And this is a huge recruiting tool for us, right? The brand, getting our name and getting our presentation and what we are out there. And so we've been able to do a few of those things. We're back on radio again on 97.7, which I think is huge for us, especially for locals. You know, you talk about Germantown, Collierville, East Memphis, up to Arlington, Lakeland, down even to DeSoto County and North Mississippi. Those folks will be able to listen to us on the radio and get excited about what we're doing, and also hopefully come out to the ballpark and listen to the games as well. Also, we're trying to grow our ESPN Plus, production that we're out there as well, and get us on TV as much as possible. So I think some of that is starting to kind of, go in the right direction. The game day atmosphere is something we really want to grow. We were last in attendance in the conference. We want to, get not only folks here, right? It's our job to get them in the door, but it's also our job to keep them in the door once they get here. We've got to give them things to be excited about coming back to FedEx and Avern Fogelman.
What do you want the identity of your team to be?
T3, something we continue to see, continue to talk about. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but we have obviously gone in extensive detail with our players about what that is and what that stands for. And that's a way we'll answer pretty much every question when you go, hey, man, why'd you win? It's T3. What's that mean? You'll see it on the field. If you can't recognize on the field and we have a true identity on the field, then I'm failing as our leader and chief and commander. So we will continue to do that part of it. We'll continue to implement that part of it. But it embodies the toughness and the competitiveness. Hey, man, we want to be here. We know this is a sport that you don't have to be the most talented team on the field. There's going to be a lot of talent on the field, and especially now, post-COVID, the draft's been shortened. You're talking about an era, probably the next 5 to 10 years might be the most competitive college baseball you'll see at every level, probably for the next 40, and the reason being there's so many players. So what's the separation? Where are you going to gain the edge? Where are you going to gain the advantage? We think it's really going to be in that mentality and that buy-in factor and that selflessness, right? We got to need that chemistry and that team camaraderie to come together.
What are your thoughts on your competition in the AAC? I know you're clearly focused on building your own program, but
Yep.
you can look around a little bit. What are your thoughts on the AAC?
Excited about it. I think we've done a really good job of upgrading from a baseball aspect. If you just look at the 5 teams that we brought in, FAU, I think, has been in a regional 6 of the last 9 years. Coach McCormick does a fantastic job down there. They're always tough. UTSA was top 25 for 4 or 5 weeks last year. I know Hallmark very well. He was in the Southland before he went to UTSA. Did a great job of getting that program back up and going and being what they used to be 20 years ago. Also, Charlotte was in a regional final last year as well. Rice is Rice, right? We all know who Rice is. He'll be back before you know it. They've got a guy who can throw 95 within a rock's throw, pretty much everywhere in that ballpark. And then also you got UAB, right, who's coming in, who's done a lot, again, investment into their program as far as the baseball goes. They've redone the surface and the video board and the whole 9 yards. So I think we upgraded personally. I think it's a no doubt 3-bid league when you look at it on paper, possibly even a 4-bid league when it's all said and done.
Seeing some students reach out to you on social media, how big is it to get them over here and get them involved?
The bloodline, right? I mean, they're the lifeline to getting this party started. They've got a lot more energy than I do, which may be hard to believe sometimes, especially when I get in some animated conversation with some umpires. But at the end of the day, man, we want them here. We know that if we want to build this brand and what we're trying to do inside this stadium, they have got to be here, and we've got to do things to engage them. So we've got a student fan day going on next Monday to get them excited about the home opener for the following Wednesday. We've been very engaged with them. Corey and Josh and those guys have done a great job of getting them involved with us. Also, you've seen how much it's impacted in football, right, in the ambush, and then also in basketball. The student section has gone crazy. The guy shaved his head the other day, right, having a good time. That's what we want. They're bringing the energy into the ballpark. So, again, right, when you walk in the ballpark, you might not be a baseball fan, but you see that smoker going. You see those guys having a good time down the line, right. Also, you see a good brand, aggressive style of baseball and us winning games. It just makes for the whole environment, the whole picture.
You got a little bit of your leadership in the room. Just being Tim Buss, what these guys that are joining us today.
Yeah. Again, man, I told these guys in the exit meetings, right, in the end of the fall, we kind of just sit down and kind of assess some things. Hey, man, where have we been? What have we done? Hey, here's the picture for the springtime of where I see you impacting our program. But I had to take a moment to tell each one of those guys, man, hey, man, just thank you. You guys have done a really good job of accepting us. We've got in here, we've worked hard, we've put a lot of time and effort and energy into this, and it wouldn't be this way unless you guys didn't just not fight us. Like, you did a great job of accepting us the way we need to be accepted. So you can see it. Again, that's another reason why I took this job. And the interview process with Laird, involving a few of those players, having a few of those conversations, being able to see what that locker room kind of wants and what they're looking for and what they're feeding for, I knew we'd have an opportunity to be competitive year one to have a chance to win a championship.
Is there anything like opening day?
Nothing. I mean, look, two best parts of the season maybe is the deer season where we get the rut going right, and then opening day, man. There's just those two things go hand in hand. I'll say this, yes, opening day is great. Postseason's even better. Postseason's even better.
Anything else for Coach? Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. You're fantastic.